Friends, now on demand I am making this a very special topic video, that is the Gauss theorem. So you should know the German physicist Gauss had formulated a relation between the charge distribution and the electric field produced by the charge. So this relation is known as the Gauss theorem. So to know about the Gauss theorem, first of all we should know about the area vector. Okay, area vector. See, what is the area vector? You know, vector means a physical quantity which has direction as well as magnitude, okay, which can be measured by the both, that is the magnitude and the direction. Suppose this is a surface, its area is A, and suppose its direction, if we consider its direction perpendicularly in upward direction perpendicular to the surface, so area vector is equal to the, suppose n is the unit vector, so you can say unit vector n a is the magnitude in particular direction, okay, because unit vector, you know, orthogonal unit vector shows the direction only and its magnitude is only the one. So area vector, you can say it is equal to the longitude, that is the orthogonal unit vector product and the magnitude. So its area vector is a vector whose magnitude is the area of the surface and the direction is the perpendicular to the surface. So this is the area vector. Now one more term will be used in the Gauss theorem, that is the solid angle. Dear friends, already we know about the fundamental units and the supplementary fundamental units. Okay, in class 11th we had discussed, we know very well the differences between them. Okay, so two supplementary basic units or the supplementary units are the, you know, the radian and the steradian. Already I think you can remember. So solid angle, one more time I am trying to explain it. Suppose this is a body and if it is curved like this, so you can see inside here, inside this angle, inside the angle which is subtended by the outer surface, at the center of the circle, it is known as the solid angle. Okay, let me show in a different way. Suppose this is a solid, okay, and if we cut its portion like this, okay, like this, okay, so it is the surface angle, surface A, unit vector A, you can say here, and this is the small portion, you can say dA. It is the better to say the dA, small portion or small surface of this whole surface. Okay, so the angle subtended by this surface at the center, it is known as the solid angle. Suppose the radius is r here, so the solid angle is defined as the d omega is equal to dA upon r square. So it is the ratio of the angle subtended at the area of the surface to the square of the radius. Okay, or to define in much better way, if you take the d omega, yeah, dA is equal to r square. Suppose both are equal, so we can say that d omega is equal to 1. So we can write its definition, because its unit, the unit of the solid angle is the steradian. So 1 steradian is the solid angle, subtended, okay, subtended by a part of the surface, okay, of the surface of a sphere at the center. at the center of the sphere when the area to the square when the area of the part is equal to the square of the radius is equal to square of radius of the sphere. Okay, so 1 steradian is the solid angle subtended at the center by the small part of the surface of the sphere at the center of the sphere when the area of the part is equal to the square of the radius of the sphere. So you can make the definition yourself. If we consider the solid angle for the subtended by the whole surface, then we can write the total subtended angle. It is the total area upon r square. And what is the total area of the sphere? It is the 4 pi r square. So we can say it is equal to the 4 pi is the solid angle at the surface at the center by the whole surface of the sphere. Okay, so dear students, we should know this value also useful in the next topic of this chapter. Now we are coming to the another main topic, that is the electric flux. Electric flux, you know, a charge, suppose the positive or the negative charge, we show its electric field by the lines of force. Is it clear, na? So when suppose it is a body and the charge is placed inside, then what will happen? Its electric lines of force will emerge outside like this. So this number of lines passing through a surface is the measurement of the electric flux. See the another example. Suppose it is a it is a perpendicular surface placed, then lines are passing like this, electric lines of forces are passing. So the measurement of the number of lines passing through a surface is the measurement of the electric flux. So electric flux it is the measurement of the lines of force passing through a surface. So now mathematically how can we define? It is denoted by the phi, right? The suffix e, just to show that it is the electric, because you have to study the magnetic flux also. So electric flux phi, it is the line integral of the dot product of the electric field and the area vector. So scalar product, it is defined as the electric flux through the element. I think it is clear. So electric flux linked with the surface is an electric field is defined as the surface. It is the surface integral of the normal component of the electric field over that surface. Okay, perpendicularly how many electric lines are passing. Okay, we can write like this also. Okay, circle means the whole surface. You are taking the surface integral. Okay, it is the dot product, and you know very well dot product, resultant of the dot product of two physical quantities, it is always a scalar. So we can say that the electric flux is a scalar quantity. It is a scalar quantity. I think it is very easy to remember. If someone asks why the electric flux is a scalar, because it is the dot product of electric field intensity and the area vector. I think it is clear. Okay, so if we expand it, you will write E dA cos theta. Already you know about the about the scalar product and the magnetic flux. So already you know about it. So we can write E dA cos theta. Okay, dA cos theta. If cos theta is equal to 1, that is the theta is equal to 90, lines are passing perpendicularly. In that case, we can write it is equal to the EA. Okay, so dear students, the unit of the electric flux, its unit can be found by the formula. See, the phi is equal to phi E is equal to EA cos theta, and the unit of the phi is, it is the Newton per coulomb. Newton per coulomb into meter square. The unit of the electric field is equal to Newton per coulomb, and the unit of the area, it is the meter square. So it becomes Newton meter square per coulomb. Okay, and in other way you can write, because the unit of the electric field is also volt per meter. It is the volt per meter and meter square. So its another unit, SI unit, is volt meter. So dear students, there are two units of the electric flux, that is the Newton meter square per coulomb and the volt meter. Okay, now one more thing you should know is dimensional formula. Using the same formula, phi is equal to EA, we can find the dimensional formula, which will come ml to the power 3, t to the power minus 3, a to the power minus 1. I think you will not face any difficulty to find this dimensional formula. See, the one more physical quantity which you should know related to the electric flux, that is the electric flux density. In mechanics, you know, density means the mass upon volume for any solid, and here, but in this case of the Gauss theorem, or in the electric flux lines, the lines passing through a surface, so it is related to the surface. So that's why the electric flux density means the electric flux divided by the surface area by A. So flux is the electric flux means the E into A upon A. So A is cancelled. So E is equal to E. So electric flux density is here. It is the E. So this is about the basic of this chapter. In next video, we'll discuss about the Gauss theorem. Thank you, students.